SSTUWA members have access to a range of travel benefits. You can get discounted hotels and check out the classifieds in Western Teacher magazine for a whole range of special offers delivered to you by fellow members. You're a traveller, you're an SSTUWA member, it's a great match. Hello and welcome to Western Teacher Live. In this episode of the State School Teachers Union of Western Australia's podcast, we're discussing the union's new Educator Network. And I'm delighted to have Senior Vice President Natalie Blewett and Growth Team Officer and NEN Guru Chloe Hosking with me today. Natalie, can we start with you and maybe tell us a little bit about the history of the new Educator Network?
Absolutely, we'd love to. Hi Bob and hi Chloe. Welcome back to our regular listeners and a big hi and welcome to those of you who are tuning into our podcast for this very first episode. So the new Educator Network originally commenced on the east coast of Australia, and in WA we have redeveloped and refined it to suit our particular context. So it's an opportunity for early career teachers to network in a variety of forums, which I'm sure Chloe will tell us about. But we have been working with our new educator members for about the past 10 to 15 years. So we've been redeveloping this model and it's been working quite well to support early career teachers.
And Chloe, thanks Nat. Chloe, can you tell us who qualifies as a new educator and some of the ways NEN members, or NENs as we call them, can stay in touch with the union and with each other?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Bob. So our new educators are our members who are in their first 5 years of teaching. And we've got a range of supports that are available to them above and beyond the benefits that they can access just like every other union member. So one of the best ways that they can keep in touch with one another and find out what's going on in the new educator space is through the New Educator Network Facebook group. So that's a private Facebook group. When you join, you answer a couple of questions. And then if you're a member, you can stay in there while you're a new educator. And you'll find heaps of stuff coming through there. That's where all of our events are advertised first. You'll get industrial advice that's really relevant to you as a new teacher, stuff around your graduate entitlements, for example, and also some professional advice that's really handy as you start off your teaching career. So that Facebook group is a really good place to start. And through that group as well, we're running this year some webinars for our new educators. So next term coming up, actually, we've got a webinar running about transitioning from your provisional to your full registration. So as a new educator member, you can tune in for free on that one, and it'll give you, again, a little bit more support in that space where we know you really need it. As well as that Facebook group, there's a few other ways that our new educators can get more involved with their union. And one of the really big ways for that is through our new educator committee. So at the start of each year, there's a call out for people to apply to nominate to be part of the committee. And we have up to 15 new educators from all across the state. And we meet once a term. You can come into the union office, or if you're a bit further away, you can also Zoom in. We run them all on Zoom as well. And then you get to have a bit of a say. You provide some advice and some direction to the union about what's really important to new educators in WA at the moment. As well as the NEN committee, we've also got a couple of events that are coming up in the next couple of months that we're really excited about. And expressions of interest are opening Friday the 11th of August for these two. The first one is our State Council Conference Guest Program. So every 6 months we have State Council. It's the highest decision-making body of the union, and people travel from all over Western Australia to get together and decide on the direction of the union and make decisions about the direction of the union. And as new educators, we really want you to understand what your union does and how it works. And so we offer this State Council Conference Guest Program where at November State Council, you're invited to come in as a guest and sit on the floor and observe the proceedings of State Council. So if that's something you're interested in, you can check out the New Educator section of the website, and the EOIs will come up on Friday the 11th. And the other expressions of interest that are opening on the same day is for Australian Education Union, so the AU, the national body of the union that we're a part of, the New Educator Conference, the federal conference. So that one's going to be held in Canberra again in November this year. And where we'll be opening expressions of interest for new educators who are really excited to learn a little bit more about what's going on in the union movement across Australia. You'll get to go over to Canberra, meet other New Educator unionists, and participate in some really great workshops and professional learning as well. So both of those opportunities, the expressions of interest open on the 11th of August and they'll close on the 10th of September. So keep an eye out on the website, and again through the Facebook we'll be advertising that as well. The other place where you might be seeing some of this news is our New Educator e-news. So that one comes out on the first Tuesday of the month, and it's got a big range of information that might be really relevant to you as a teacher, a new teacher. So again, industrial advice, professional advice, teaching tips, what's coming up, how you can get a little bit more involved in your union. So you'll notice that one because it's got a little fish header on it. So it's a little bit different to our regular e-news. It's specially for you new educators, and keep an eye out for the goldfish so you know that that's your NEN news. The other one, again, where you'll get that information is through every Western teacher. There's a new educator specific article. And again, there'll be a little goldfish on that page so you'll know what you're reading. And you'll see the information about these two events coming out in our next Western teacher as well.
Chloe, that's fantastic, and I know that we see the most departures from teaching as a career tend to come in those first 5 years. So this is really, really important to people to get that peer support and seek help, sometimes not through the formal channels, but from their colleagues. And I know that you were a NEN yourself, and what have you found to be most useful around supporting your career, being part of that network?
Yeah, look, I think just by virtue of being part of that network, it's a massive support as you start teaching. Like you say, retention the first 5 years is tough. When I started teaching, I was the only graduate at my school, and getting involved with the New Educator Network made me realise there were people all over the state who were in a similar boat that I was in. And I was lucky enough to be on the New Educator Committee for a few years when I started teaching. And I think that one of the really powerful things that came out of that was realising that I do have a voice in my union. And I remember going to some of those early meetings, and we were talking with union leadership about what sort of issues were really impacting new educators at the time. And something that we were talking about a lot back then, and I know that it's just increased to now, is the amount of internal relief that we were doing. So as a new teacher, you're given a little bit of extra release time, that graduate release days or the graduate release time, because we know that you've got this extra workload. It's something that unions won to give you that extra time. But then me, and it turned out a lot of my colleagues from across the state, we found out that we were losing a lot of that time as internal relief. We didn't want the payment. We really needed the time to do our planning, to catch up on marking, to make those parent calls. And so as part of that committee, we put forward, that it would be great to put some limits around having graduate teachers do internal relief. And, slowly it has worked its way through the log of claims and the system, and you'll see in the most recent agreement, so the 2021 General Agreement, there's a new clause in there, and it says that, graduate teachers should only be considered for internal relief, that their workload needs to be considered before you schedule them on to do internal relief. So it's been really fantastic for me to see that work that we started quite a few years ago now actually come into something that is in our agreement and that's affecting other new teachers all over the state, now that I'm not a new educator myself anymore. So that's a really big part, and I've seen other people, through that New Educator Network share similar stories, that idea about knowing that there are other people who are in the same situation as you, about learning that you do have a voice in your union and how all of those processes work, and even just participating in some of the professional learning and the conferences. I know we held the Federal New Educator Conference in Perth at the end of last year, and some of the workshops that were run there were absolutely fantastic. But what was really great to see was some of the NENs that attended actually took that work away and then used that to have conversations with their branch and even professionally integrate it into some of their lessons for their students. So I think that kind of support is just absolutely invaluable.
Well, it certainly is, and I think it also shows how people at all levels of the union contribute to good decision making and improving the lot of their fellow teachers. Natalie, I'm intrigued by that. 15 years of the NEN network, we'll have seen a number of people progress through from the NENs onto various committees, onto executive, onto district councils. There must be quite a few people who had their first connection with the union through the New Educator Network.
That's right, Bob. We have certainly seen an increasing number of our new educators actually taking on different roles within their branches as union reps and as district council delegates and state council delegates. We also have one of our particular NENs who came to the very first New Educator National Conference with me way back in the early 2000s. She is now sits on our executive team as well. So a fantastic opportunity for new educators to get involved in all sorts of different levels, as Chloe's outlined. And also I would like to take a moment to mention the other members of the growth team as well, who new educators will see out at graduate modules and out at schools. So not only is Chloe Hosking part of the growth team, we also have Sarah Murray, who you'll see out in schools, and Christina Shabros, who also attends university visits as well as our graduate modules. So I have the pleasure of having the portfolio responsibility of the growth team. So if you are a new educator, keep an eye out for our growth team members, staff members, and make sure that you have a conversation with them at whatever event you are at so that we can make sure that you are fully supported in your new educator role, because we know that those first few years of teaching are so critically important, and we are here to support and to look after you.
That's fantastic. And the new Educator Network is just one aspect of how we try to grow union membership. At a time when a lot of unions are in decline, the SSTUWA has seen its membership numbers continue to grow, which is fantastic. So why are people joining the union? Range of benefits, being part of that collective effort to improve things, do you think?
I think it's a range of a number of conditions and factors, Bob. As Chloe mentioned some of them with regards to our new educator committee. So on the biggest level would be that collective voice, to being part of something, a group of people who can make a difference to the system, can make a difference to workplaces. As Chloe mentioned with the new educator committee, the members of that committee have had a direct input in conditions into our EBA. So Clause 13, our graduate teacher clause, is specifically designed for our new educators. So some people join with us to be part of that collective, to have their say. Our log of claims is out for a vote at the moment, so only members get to vote, only members get to contribute to the compilation of a log, and only members will get to vote on whether that log is what we will serve on the department. So that's one way that people can get involved. Another reason why people join is to see change happen at their workplace. So a number of our schools across the state have a union rep. So if you have issues or concerns at your site level, at your school level, see if you can have a conversation firstly with your union rep to see if they can be resolved at a school level. And finally, on an individual level, there are a range of options and benefits that are available to you as an individual. One is a compilation of a free simple will. So if you do need to have your will compiled, get in contact with our member assist team, 9210 6060, and they will be able to assist you there. You also have access to a range of other benefits such as Petals Florist, 20% discount, the Live Good Guys discounted store, fantastic discounts available there, and a huge range of other options including accommodation and travel. So definitely encourage everyone to have a look at our benefits tab on the SSTUWA website, sstuwa.org.au, and have a look for yourself at what your union membership can offer you.
And of course that union membership is also tax deductible, so winning all round if you're a member of the SSTUWA. Chloe, you did allude to it a little bit earlier on, and certainly with the NEN materials we always see the little fish swimming around. So tell us a little bit about that. Why do we have the fish?
Well, Bob, unions are about solidarity. You know, we say we're stronger when we stand together, and we say to our new educators, don't swim alone. Join the New Educator Network for that support. And so you'll see that little goldfish, but it's never on its own. It's always swimming as part of a school, and that's where that one comes from.
Lovely stuff, and thank you so much to Natalie and Chloe for joining us. Just a reminder that you might be listening to this podcast at a different time or a different date, and those events do open, those nominations open on the 11th of August. They should still be open, and if you have an issue and don't hear the get to that date, let us know and we'll see what we can do about that. September the 10th, I think Chloe said that the various nominations close, so plenty of time for that. And if you're in a school and you haven't got a rep, that's the other option. Put your hand up, become a rep. There's lots and lots of support around, and that will improve the outcomes in your workplace. So thank you for joining me, Bob Figg, and Senior Vice President Natalie Blewett, and Growth Team Officer and NEN Guru Chloe Hosking for our special podcast today on the New Educator Network.
SSTUWA members are strongly encouraged to register for the range of industrial and professional courses available face-to-face or online. Find these courses online via sstuwa.org.au/training.